Hey Hail Stalkers, thanks for joining us today. I'm meteorologist Taylor Cox and we are tracking a storm that's moving into Amarillo right now. A very slow moving storm, but as you can see here, it is warned for 2-inch size hail, so the size of a hen egg, larger than the size of a golf ball. 2-inch size hail for Bishop Hills, just barely outside of Amarillo. Amarillo is probably seeing these very, very large clouds start to move into the city. We're starting to see some lightning with this as well, and a little bit of rain on the western side of the city. You can see 87 is really just splitting this storm, it's splitting the side of the city that's getting storms and that's staying dry. If you're on the east side of 87, you're staying dry. If you're on the west side, you're probably either seeing large hail or seeing a very intimidating thunderstorm moving into your area. Now let me give you some information on this storm. 2-inch size hail, 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. We knew there was going to be a large hail threat for today. The National Weather Service here saying minor damage to roofs, siding, and trees is possible. People and animals outdoors will be injured. Expect damage to roofs, siding, windows, and vehicles. So that's coming straight from the National Weather Service. That is their exact wording there. This goes until 6 o'clock tonight, but I think that the biggest thing about this storm that you need to know is that it's moving at about 5 miles an hour. It's nearly stationary. Let me clear off this warning text box here so that you can see exactly what I'm looking at in terms of the radar and not much of the information. There you go. Here you go. So let's zoom down into this. Very, very nice organization with this. I mean, really within the last 10 minutes, we've seen some nice organization. Anytime that you get what looks kind of like this bean shaped right here, that's whenever we know that we're starting to see some organization. And right in this area is most likely where the largest, most impressive hail is going to be. Let's zoom down into Amarillo and let's go to, I'm actually going to share my screen here and I'm going to show you exactly what we're seeing. So let's go here. So what you're going to see is what we have here, especially, do you see that area that's starting to hook around? I think that you can see my cursor right there. That is what we're watching for some rotation. Okay, so some potential rotation there and then some really large hail. And then if we actually switch this area, okay, look down to the bottom left-hand side of the screen, just north of Wildorado. I hope I'm saying that correctly. That's where you're going to see some large hail, but then you could see it just a little bit to the east as well. So technically out of Amarillo, moving to the south at about 5 miles an hour. We have a brand new update on the severe thunderstorm warning. It is officially 3-inch size hail, warned for 3-inch size hail. Very, very impressive, larger than the size of a baseball. And you can see in the upper right-hand corner of my screen, that's going to be your storm relative velocity. So the wind direction and strength, you can see right in here, right where that wet red square is, some really good organization right there. On the bottom left-hand side of the screen, that's called KDP. It talks about, or it really explains to us how large the hail sizes are inside of this system. Sometimes it can mean really, really heavy rain, and then other times it could mean some large hail. And what we want to see from our correlation coefficient, which I'm going to switch over to the bottom left-hand side of the screen, is greens and blue. If we want to talk about large hail, we're talking about greens and blues on the correlation coefficient, and look at that. Look how much green and blue is on that screen. Holy moly, it's very, very impressive. And hey, Isaac, could we, thank you, just so we can see the full radar here. We've got Isaac producing here. Martin Lauermore is also behind the screen as well. And we are all watching this storm very, very closely. Now I'm going to check in with some of our Hailtrace meteorologists. I'm going to see what they've mapped so far. So I'm going to go to hailtrace.com. If you guys have a subscription, you can see their mapping in real time as well. And I'm going to see exactly what they've mapped so far. And as always, if you guys have any weather questions while I do this, put that in the chat and we can get those on the screen and we can answer your weather questions. Okay, right now they have hail, golf ball size hail, north of Wildorado. And I totally believe that, absolutely believe that. I'm wondering if they're going to bump that up because this warning has officially been bumped up to 3-inch size hail larger than the size of a baseball. Wow. Okay, let me remove this, make this radar a little bit bigger. I'm going to zoom out and show you other severe thunderstorm warnings that we're dealing with right now. All of these storms moving extremely slow. These will not be moving for quite some time. They actually will probably weaken before they actually move out of these towns. They're going to be very, very slow movers today. Nearly stationary is what the National Weather Service said. This storm farther down to the south, that's a little ways outside of Lubbock, warned for golf ball size hail and 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts for about 5,000 people. That's in Lockney, Texas. And do we have a storm moving into DFW? Look at this, brand new severe thunderstorm warning, moving into Bridgeport right now, warned for 1-inch size hail and 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Now your question, I know exactly what you guys are wondering, will this make it into Fort Worth? It's got a direct line, it feels like, into Fort Worth. It's moving at about 35 miles an hour. And let's see, it's about 45 miles outside of Fort Worth. So if we were to draw a line and it moves directly into Fort Worth, it's going to take about an hour and a half. So it's going to be a bit until this gets into the city. You guys may get rain from storms north of you before it gets into the city. Warned for 1-inch size hail and 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Let's zoom out and let's see what else we're dealing with. Any storms over Colorado right now? We've got one storm. Okay, I've been watching this storm for a while. Talk about another slow mover. It's been sitting just to the north of Colorado Springs, really trying to get going for a while now. Warned for about $half size hail and 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. The severe thunderstorm warning goes for another 29 minutes until 5 o'clock. And then this severe thunderstorm warning that goes down to the southeast, moving at about 30 miles an hour. So at least we're seeing storms move up in Colorado Springs. Again, goes until 6 o'clock this evening. Warned for $half size hail, both of these storms are. It looks like a nice split here, and I think if you watch the storm from its initial point, it really looked like it was going to split, and that's exactly what we're seeing. Let's keep an eye on both of those storms. We officially have a tornado warning. Is that for the Amarillo storm? It is. Okay, so I told you guys that we were seeing some really nice organization with most likely some sort of circulation in here, and that's exactly what we're seeing. We officially have a tornado warning for outside of Amarillo. There's good news and there's bad news with this. The good news is that it's picking up speed. It's not just sitting in the same spot, okay? So it's moving to the south at about 5 to 10 miles an hour. So it's picking up just a tiny bit of speed, but it's not enough. It's going to stay in this vicinity for a while. This tornado warning is radar indicated. It can also come with some really, really large hail, up to 3 inches in size, and 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. The tornado warning goes for another 45 minutes. So even though it's a small warning box, it's because this is not moving barely at all, and that's why we're seeing this storm warned for 45 minutes out. I mean, it's going to take 45 minutes to travel. Let's take a look at our ruler. 10 miles. I mean, this is going to sit over this area for a long time. Think about this. If you're seeing hail right now, and you're seeing hail for another 45 minutes, think about how much hail piles up in that time. If you've got a tornado, and it just sits in the same spot, think about the impacts that that could do. I mean, that's a very, very impactful situation, and this is not a very populated area, which is good news that not too many people are in the way of this tornado warning. I'm not getting populations to pop up on my warning boxes here, but again, 3-inch size hail and 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts just outside of Amarillo, Texas. Now, I'm going to pause right there. Do we have any weather questions that we can address right now? We're all good on weather questions. Okay, you guys let us know where you're watching from, because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, severe thunderstorm warnings right now. Let's go back up to Colorado, and then we're going to talk about what we could see for the rest of the afternoon or evening. It's officially 5:30 here in Oklahoma. Black Forest, you still have a severe thunderstorm warning for half-dollar size hail, and you officially have your first hail report of the day in Colorado Springs, quarter-size hail. But as these storms get farther apart from each other, I think they'll both start to organize more impressively, especially this storm right here. I really want to see what this does as it continues to move down to the southeast. I think that we could see some hail out of both of these storms. We'll have to see exactly what happens. Denver, you're dry right now. We don't have any storms around the Denver area. We've got a little bit of rain, and this has tried to form into some storm formation over the last hour and just has really struggled, and we haven't seen anything out of it. We've got a little bit of rain up near Cheyenne as well, or just to the north of Cheyenne, about to go over I-25. Wichita, you guys have some rain as well. And that brings us right back down into Texas, where all of the activity is happening right now. Let's go ahead for your severe thunderstorm watch and see what we're talking about for the rest of the evening. We have a severe thunderstorm watch until 10 o'clock this evening. That includes Amarillo, Canyon, Hereford, I hope I'm saying that correctly. Moving down to Lubbock, Texas, your severe thunderstorm watch also goes until 10 o'clock this evening. And Dallas, Fort Worth, severe thunderstorm watch for 5 million, almost 6 million people. Arlington, Dallas, Fort Worth, and Plano until 10 o'clock this evening. So it could be a long night for people across Texas that were in that marginal slight and enhanced risk earlier today. We are now seeing those storms come to fruition. So it's definitely something to keep an eye on. Now let's go over to meteorologist Martin Larimore. Now Martin, I know that you've been watching storms from your side of the screen. What are you seeing over there? I mean, this is a very, very impressive storm. Now tornado warned just outside of Amarillo.
Yeah, it's super impressive. I mean, I've been looking at the correlation coefficients, both looking for the possibility of a debris signature, but also just looking at this massive amount of hail that we've kind of been seeing. I just realized I need to share my screen real quick so you can see my end. So what I'm looking at here is we're seeing, of course, our reflectivity. This is what we call our level 2 super reflectivity. And this right here is your reflectivity. Got that tornado warning, very high levels of reflectivity, got purples, even a couple splotches of white in there. That's that extremely high reflectivity. Meanwhile, to your right here, we've got, this is our correlation coefficient. Normally when it's raining, you're looking at areas of dark red, even that violet color. Now, this is where Amarillo is. So Amarillo is more than likely getting only rain, maybe a couple small pea-sized hailstones. But when you get closer toward Bushland and over toward Wildorado, that's where you're going to start seeing much larger hail, especially in between Wildorado and Bushland, just to the north. More than likely, not a whole lot going on up here in between Wildorado and Bushland. So luckily, we're not seeing this massive hail affecting too many people. But right now I could see Bushland more than likely seeing some large hail moving its way, and we got reflectivities that are starting to increase into Bushland. Wildorado, you are right on the cusp of that where the tornado would be, but luckily we're not seeing anything currently in terms of a debris signature. So that is a good thing there. But if you look, again, right in this, what we call a hail core, that area where you have the highest likelihood of seeing that large hail, you're looking at, again, 3-inch hail possibilities, what this storm is warned for. It's went from, just around golf ball size only a short few minutes ago, all the way up to this over baseball sized hail over toward Bushland, just in between here and Wildorado. So while this is moving pretty slowly, I believe Taylor said it is starting to pick up pace a little bit. I'm imagining we're probably going to start seeing some form of flash flood risk probably making its way into there pretty soon. So we've got hail, tornado, and flash flood all more than likely going to be seen with this, Taylor, pretty soon. It is good that it's kind of staying away from the major areas in Amarillo, but I'm imagining Wildorado and Bushland are probably going to be getting some hail, maybe a quick spin up pretty quickly, but I'm going to be watching it pretty closely to see if there is any of that debris from a tornadic storm.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we'll keep an eye on that for you guys because, I mean, once that hits, once that touches down, if it does, that's going to be a very, very serious situation for folks in this area. I do want to go ahead and show some live cameras here. So I'm going to try to do this from my side of things. So guys, bear with me just for a moment while I pull this up. And you guys let us know where you're watching from today so that we can address all areas of the country where people are watching from. Now it looks fine right along the highway. So this is going to be just south of the circulation. So it looks fine. There is no rain coming down right now. Again, this is moving very, very slow. So people have plenty of time to go shelter, to find their shelter. I hope that that's what they're doing right now. This is a look, if I actually show you exactly what we're looking at, this is a look just actually to the west of that circulation. Let's go a little bit to the east. Let's see what we're seeing in this area. People still just moving on the highway, perfectly fine. But let's keep going through our cameras here. This is in Bushland, right along I-40. So again, just south of that circulation. Got a little bit of a backup, and you can see more of those dark clouds in the distance, and probably that rain shaft as well in the distance there. You can see how ominous it is in this area, just outside of Amarillo, where they have gotten some rain, some wet roadways there, some road spray you can catch on the cameras as well. Moving on to another camera, we're going to continue down this road here as we go farther into Amarillo. Still wet roadways. It looks like people are slowing down, but traffic is moving fine in this area. And again, this is coming from Texas Department of Transportation. Moving just down a little bit closer, I want to see, okay, so if we're talking about Bushland here, we've got Wildorado. Bushland is getting that rain. Wildorado is also getting that rain. It'd be more Wildorado that I'm looking for here, and maybe on the western side of the city. Okay, a new update to our warning. They're continuing that warning. So let's go into Vega and let's see what our cameras look like down there. This is a camera that I really want to keep an eye on over the next few minutes. So we're going to return to this later because I want to keep an eye on exactly what we're seeing in these areas. You can see that we've definitely got some darker clouds in the background. So I think if we see something, it'll be right in between these two cameras that we've shown you over the last few minutes. So I'm glad that this is moving slow enough that people have time to shelter before this storm hits a major highway. Again, this right along I-40. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen and we're going to go back to our forecast. Second.
Little update with the warning. They have sped it up to 15 miles an hour, but they've also dropped the hail down to 2 inch.
Okay, so some good news is that this is moving. Okay, the storm is officially moving. We've seen an upgrade, as Martin was saying there, from 5 miles an hour to 15 miles an hour. So now the storm is starting to move. Now, people along I-40 definitely need to take shelter because the storm is about to hit, again, a major highway outside of Amarillo. And you saw by those traffic cameras just how many people are still on the highway. It's for a small area of the highway, right in between Vega and the other town was, I've said this, Wildorado? Yes, Wildorado. So in between Vega and Wildorado, we want to make sure that people are out of the way. But Martin, from what I have seen on my side of things, is that the organization is not as impressive now as what we were seeing earlier. Now, it's still something that if I was the National Weather Service, I'd keep this warned for a tornado. But we're starting to see maybe the storm cycle. Maybe the storm is starting to fall apart just a little bit. I'm not seeing as much organization now as I was earlier, but still something to keep an eye on because it could cycle back through and it could organize within the next frame and look so much more impressive. Again, it was dropped down from 3-inch size hail warned to now 2-inch size. So just slightly larger than the size of a golf ball, closer to the size of a hen egg.
So actually, correction, the tornado warning is still warned for 3-inch hail. The severe thunderstorm warning is 2-inch hail.
Okay.
So they still are saying 3-inch hail possible in the deepest part of the hail core.
And that's the area that's about to cross the highway. Now, as you get farther into Amarillo, this is definitely more of a populated area, okay? So as you go farther to the east into Amarillo, that's where you get more of those people. 2-inch size hail for the severe thunderstorm warning. and 3-inch size hail for the tornado warning. I'm going to go back to these traffic cameras. I want to see if we're seeing any update on these traffic cameras, because this is something that we could actually catch on camera, but it's moving slow, so it may take a while for the storm to actually reach this area. It's definitely looking darker. Take a look at this. Those clouds in the background have gotten a lot darker. It's probably because the storm is moving closer and closer to the highway. You can see the camera shaking up and down there. You've got some strong winds coming through right now, although wind is not the biggest concern. We're only worried about 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, not the biggest concern there. However, still something that you want to keep an eye on. Hail is going to be the biggest concern, as well as that potential tornado. This is really getting darker. I mean, just minute by minute here, we've gotten some very, very dark clouds moving in. Look in the distance. I'm not quite sure if you can see my mouse on screen right there. Look at that, how dark that's gotten just within the past few minutes. Now, I hope that everyone in this area, you can still see how many cars are on the road, a lot of semis on the road as well. I hope that they're heeding the warnings in this area. We're going to keep an eye on this camera, but while we do that, your radar is in the bottom side of the screen, bottom right hand side, so you'll be able to see the radar. Let's zoom into this area here. This is about to cross the street, about to cross I-40. So this camera is out in Vega. It's going to be away from the rain. You're going to be looking towards those dark clouds in the distance. That's the supercell. That's still warned, tornado warned. They have updated the warning. They're really, I mean, they're pinpointing exactly where they expect this tornado to be. It's in this area, right here. They've actually updated this warning to now not include the other side of I-40 as you get closer to Amarillo. Actually, we're only including this area of I-40. Now, we don't have a camera in this area, but they have really pinpointed exactly where they're worried about large hail and a potential tornado. And then they've got the farther southern side of the highway, now south of I-40, also warned. Randall is asking, is this going to hit Amarillo? So that's a great question. This is actually just outside of Amarillo proper. So Amarillo actually not included, downtown area, not included in the severe thunderstorm warning. Now if you go, let's see, about 10 miles outside of 287, that's where you get into this severe thunderstorm warning, where you've got tons of rain, potential large hail. 2-inch size hail is what the warning is for, but then you've got that tornado warning, and that's another 20 miles away from Highway 287, and that's what we're really watching for potential 3-inch size hailstones. So will it hit Amarillo? Yeah, you guys are going to get some rain. Will you get that large hail? Maybe on the far, far western side of the city. I don't know exactly where the city limits end here. Great questions. I'm going to go back through some of these traffic cameras here because we've really seen conditions change over the last few minutes from traffic cameras.
The Bushland one's got some flags that are moving very aggressively. The one closer to Amarillo probably.
Yeah, so we're definitely seeing some change here as those overshooting cloud tops, as they move into this area. We've got lots of shadows from the clouds there, some very dark horizons. We officially have rain in Bushland. This was a dry road earlier, and now we're seeing some rain in this area. This is Highway 40, so you're looking at the highway here. As Martin mentioned earlier, you can see the clouds, the flags off in the distance, really whipping back and forth from those strong winds. People are officially using their headlights too. Just a reminder that it is not even 6 o'clock in June. The sun is up. Using your headlights means that there's so much clouds, maybe so much rain coming down that you cannot see in front of you. Michael asks, is this storm tracking to the southeast? It's more tracking straight south. So it's going to barely miss Amarillo. You know, Amarillo, just a little bit to the east of this storm. It's tracking straight to the south right now. And it's tracking slow, Michael. It's moving very, very slow, only about 5, maybe 15 miles an hour. Anything under 20 to me is very, very slow. 5 miles an hour, that's practically stationary. Look at all these people coming in. They've all got their headlights on. Now, the good news here is a lot of them are not flashing those hazards, which is a very, very common thing whenever it starts to rain so hard that you can't see the road in front of you. A lot of people will start to flash your hazards. And since they're not doing that, it gives me some indication that they can still see what's in front of them. This hardest still has not hit the highway. You can see that all of this red is still to the north of the highway, and it's moving down to the south. And so we're going to continue to see conditions worsen over the next few minutes. I'm going to go ahead and switch screens here, and then we can switch back just in a few minutes. But I want to keep the live cameras up. This live camera is coming right out of this area. You've got Vega over here, which is staying dry. We've got still a few people in that area. You've got that tornado warning highlighted there in red. That goes until, oh, let's see the timing on that. It was 6:15 earlier, but they've updated it a few times since I looked. This tornado warning goes until 6:15. Okay, so we're sticking with that 6:15. 2-inch size hail, 2-inch size hail for the severe thunderstorm warning as well. So that's something that we could see on these cameras. As this goes across the highway, we could see some large hail. 2-inch size hail is something that we could pick up from these traffic cameras here. Looks like we've got some lightning coming into this area. Okay, I'm going to switch it back over to traffic cameras. So I'm going to kind of go back and forth here. Because I want to show you exactly, I see one comment, maybe an old comment about asking where is this at. So this camera coming out of Bushland, right along I-40, technically outside of Amarillo. Amarillo itself, you've got wet streets, but the largest hail is going to be to the west of Amarillo, anywhere from Bushland to Vega. Vega's still dry, but very, very dark in the distance. Heavenly Hail Repair is asking, are there any reports of hail? I don't see any from my side, but again, this is a very, very low populated area. So there's not a ton of people other than travelers, as you can see on the highway there, in this area. Great questions. Got some decent lightning coming with this as well. Okay. We're going to leave this traffic camera up for now. I'm going to zoom out while we wait for this to cross the highway, and we're going to keep an eye on this traffic camera because I want to make sure that we're keeping an eye on this storm that was in Fort Worth. You guys, earlier it was severe warned, and look how it has just died out. When we started this live, it was severe warned, looked like it was going to hit the western side of Fort Worth. We knew it was going to take some time. No longer severe warned in Dallas. However, you guys are still under a severe thunderstorm watch highlighted there in red. That goes until 10 o'clock tonight, so this could be a long night. We've still got a lot of hours left to get storms. Nice line of storms coming down from the Red River. Lubbock is dry right now, but you guys have storms forming on all sides of you, to the northwest, to the northeast, down to the southwest. Look at that storm that's coming into level land right now. That could be something to watch. Another note with these storms that are just around the Lubbock area, these are also going to be moving very, very slow, so don't expect this to get to you anytime soon. They're going to be moving about 5 to 15 miles an hour once again. Madzilla says, my dad is a truck driver. He said that there is hail dropping at the Love's truck stop outside of Amarillo. Let's go back to our cameras here, and that may be actually something that we could see. Thank you for the report. We appreciate that. So this is closer to Amarillo. Got a hotel in the distance here, just to the east of Highway 335, what do you guys say? This is right along Bushland. I don't see any hail right now, but every now and then on these cameras you can start to see it piling up in the grass. Martin, do you think that the hail has officially reached Bushland yet? I mean, we're close.
I'm watching it pretty closely, the Bushland camera specifically, because I think that we could see some hail. But what I'm looking at right now on my end, the correlation coefficient does have a good little drop off toward Bushland. But as you said before, like this storm has really been losing a lot of its organization. They've dropped down the tornado warning to 2 inches as well. So now across the board, we're sitting at 2 inches for this warning. We also only have 5 minutes left on the severe thunderstorm warning and 20 minutes left on the tornado warning. So they're going to have to reissue this severe thunderstorm warning pretty soon. I'm not surprised in the slightest if they reissue it just with still 2-inch hail, because it's now going through a somewhat populated area in Bushland. Still getting purples on our reflectivity, a little bit of a drop off. So we're kind of changing away from purples with a little bit of white to mostly red with a little bit of purples. And we've also lost a good little bit on our correlation coefficient. So I think our hail is starting to fall down a bit. Rotation is giving way just little by little. There's still a good, decent little couplet going on there, but nowhere near what it was before.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, if Isaac, could we make the radar a little bit bigger there, or just switch it with the camera view? I want to show you guys our most recent hail report. Heavenly Hail Repair asked just a minute ago about if we had any hail, and we officially do. Look at this. At 5:42, we have a baseball-sized hail report on the highway on I-40. This was estimated off of a Storm Chasers live stream, so they could see it on their camera as it bounced along the ground, and they were saying that looks like baseball-sized hail on the highway. That came from the National Weather Service at 4:42, which was just about 14 minutes ago. So we know that this storm, again, has been moving so slow, moving very, very slow. If it hailed baseballs 14 minutes ago, and we still have impressive reflectivity over the highway, has it been hailing for 14 minutes? That is a long time to sit in that hail.
I just saw a hailstone blow up on the Bushland camera. So
okay,
they are getting hail.
Even this Bushland camera that you can see very large on your screen there, we are starting to see some large hail bouncing along the highway there. I bet we're going to get a lot of hail reports over the next few minutes, because you can see just how many people are still out on the highway during this storm. That is never a fun situation, especially for your windshield, whenever this hail starts to hit. Look at those people. I mean, it looks like they're trying to pick up speed at this point, trying to get out of this storm. Thankfully, Amarillo is nearby, and Amarillo is out of the severe thunderstorm warning for the most part. A lot of people have asked about Amarillo. You guys are technically out of that warning. I mean, you're just to the east of the warning here. The most impressive or most severe part of the storm is going to be to the west. So between about I-40, just before you get to Vega, right around the Bushland to Wildorado area. Wow. Now I'm kind of wondering, we're starting to see some new development with this rain farther down to the south. That could cut off the inflow or start to mess with the organization of this storm, and this storm may not last at this intensity for much longer. We've started to see that intensity go down from 3-inch size hail likely to 2-inch size hail likely. Now I'm wondering if we're going to see that weakening continue as this rain starts to build in right in its path. All right, I don't want to neglect the rest of Texas. What's going on outside of Lubbock? Lubbock, you guys have a storm on the east side of you. Severe thunderstorm warning. Woohoo! For tennis ball size hail. This goes until 7 o'clock tonight. Got another hour left on this severe thunderstorm warning. Again, being warned for a long period of time because they're moving so slow. Strong wind speeds at about 64 miles an hour in Floyd. So not only do we have that large hail, but also some strong wind. We had one severe thunderstorm warning over here to the northeast of Lubbock northwest of Lubbock near Littlefield, and that has been allowed to expire. No more warning over here. And I wonder, with the lack of forcing in this area, just how long these storms can sustain themselves. I mean, I really think that this little bit of rain south of this storm near Amarillo, this could be the end of the storm that's crossing the highway right now. But still, it's raining very, very hard on the highway out of Bushland. So this is in Bushland, looking at Highway 40. The rain is coming down very, very quick at this point. Seeing a little bit of hail here. It's hard to tell what is the glimmer from rain and hailstones bouncing in the road.
It's not piling up yet, so.
Yeah, it's not piling up. So this could be a more isolated event, which is honestly not what I expected after looking at GR2. Okay, well, the tornado warning is officially past the highway. Zooming out, we have one severe thunderstorm warning just to the east of Lubbock. We had a few severe thunderstorm warnings near Colorado Springs, one that went to the north and one that went to the south. Let's take a look at the hail reports over here. 1-inch size hail in Colorado Springs. Now, just outside of Colorado Springs and a city called Fountain got hit with a ton of hail yesterday. It wasn't very large, but then this area of the state is getting hit once again, quarter-size hail over here. Okay, let's go up to Black Forest. I'm curious about this storm. Another 1-incher. So far today, Colorado, your largest hail size has been quarter-size hail. You are under a severe thunderstorm watch. Oh. That goes until 1 o'clock tonight, Mountain Time. Wyoming, severe thunderstorm watch until 1 o'clock tonight. You guys have a little storm just north of Cheyenne, 1-inch size hail, less than 50 miles an hour for your wind gusts. The activity is really, really focused on Texas right now. And we have one brand new severe thunderstorm warning in Oklahoma. It's hard to tell. It's moving into Idabel right now, 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. I'm not too concerned about this round of rain in Oklahoma. Honestly, what I would be watching for is another round of rain that we're expecting later on tonight. So if you guys want to transition into your future cast, let's take a look at this radar. So right now, 6 o'clock, these storms are going to continue to move to the south. By late tonight, maybe 10 o'clock, storms will be out of the Texas Panhandle. Our focus then shifts to storms that are forming just north of the Oklahoma-Kansas state line. Eventually, they're going to become widespread, moving into Oklahoma. I think this will be more of a wind event, but you can't rule out some little hailers in here, especially as they stay a little bit more isolated. This model has definitely evolved from what we saw earlier. Earlier, we saw 1 a.m., just a long, widespread line of storms. Let's go up to Colorado and go through this one more time. When is it going to hit Denver? Great question, and great timing on that question, because I'm zooming down into Colorado right now. The later and later it gets, the lower and lower your chance for storms in Denver. I really did expect to see a few storms lining up west of the highway by now. We're not really seeing that. It's pretty quiet in Denver at the moment. We saw storms down in Colorado Springs. This is your 7 o'clock future radar, and it looks like those storms in Colorado Springs will have tracked to the east, sustaining their strength, so maybe hitting some areas along the highway here, Highway 70. You could see storms through the evening hours. As we head into the late night hours tonight, 9, 10 o'clock, I think that severe risk will go down, especially that hail risk. Without the sun, that hail risk goes down, just a little correlation there. Could you get hail into the overnight hours? I think it's possible. Take a look at this. Here's why I think it's possible. Here's a look at your significant hail model at 10 o'clock tonight, 11 o'clock tonight. We still have oranges all over the board. What does oranges mean? Golf ball size hail. This is not normal. Usually we're starting to see this drop off by 11 o'clock. Midnight, still got orange on the board. Okay, by about 1 o'clock, we're finally starting to see those hail sizes drop down. But look at this, by 8, 9, come on, 10 o'clock tonight, if we still have storms in this area, you could still get some large hail, according to this model. Now, I'm very, very skeptical of this because hail in the overnight hours rarely happens, but it's possible, especially according to, I think this is the her. And models have been trending this way all day long. They've been trying to put a little hailer at like 1 or 2 a.m. in Denver, so I guess anything is possible. But I would say that would be very, very rare if that were to happen. So I didn't really answer your question. Timeline for Denver. I'd say between now and about 8 o'clock, but there's a chance you could see some overnight storms as well. I wonder if the Storm Prediction Center or National Weather Service has said anything about this. And then we'll go back to the radar. We'll take a look at our Texas storms once again. Let's see what they're saying. So the National Weather Service of Colorado notes that with the slow movement of these storms and rounds of storms, you could see a flood risk increase through the evening and overnight hours. They are noting that with the ingredients in place that we have right now, we're looking at a potentially lengthy severe weather threat today, which I will note is rare for Colorado. Usually it's a pretty short window. But there's a strong cap that's currently in place that will need to be overcome this afternoon and evening. And so that may be what's stopping storms right now, is that cap. Just, we can't get over that. Still, they note 2-inch size hail is possible in Colorado. So we'll see. It's been very, very quiet so far. I know that no one likes to hear your meteorologist say, well, I guess we'll see. But I mean, that's really what, we've got the ingredients. We just have to overcome that cap. We've got 2 storms right now in Colorado. A few more storms building up by Lehman. I hope I'm saying that correctly. But other than that, I mean, things are quiet in Denver. Let's go back and let's check that Texas storm out. Do we still have that camera up? Could we see that again? Ooh, very nice. Thank you. Check this out. We've got a brand new hail report coming from the exact location of this camera in Bushland for ping pong ball size hail, 1.5 inches. So we know there's been hail in this area. We may have caught it on camera, it's just maybe a little difficult to see. Okay, before we get going here, because I want to jump off of here and go look for some hail pictures so that you guys can find those on our social media pages, do we have any last minute questions? All good? Martin, before we go, anything that I have missed that is important here?
Not really. We've just been seeing this thing slowly kind of losing intensity over the past couple of minutes over the Bushland cell. But again, baseball size report, ping pong size report, it's done exactly what we've been saying it was going to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're still getting some large hail reports across this area. We said max hail size today, softball size hail, so we'll see if we can get up to softball size hail. We still have 4 more hours left in the severe thunderstorm watch. All right, well, thanks for joining us on this Tuesday evening. We have another round of storms expected for Denver and eastern Colorado and up into Wyoming, not only tomorrow, but also on Thursday. So 2 more days to go at least. We've got another round of storms for Kansas and Oklahoma. So we'll talk about that more in depth tomorrow during our live forecast at noon. Join us then. And as always, we'll be posting pictures of this storm on social media. So make sure that you follow us on all forms of social media. I'm meteorologist Taylor Cox. You heard from meteorologist Martin Louermore as well.